apologies in advance. This is unscripted and probably going to be widely unedited.
Oh, great! A sign that this video will be nothing but an angry mess that really should have been put in a formal, deductive manner. Lovely.
But I just wanted to say something. Respect is something that we treat every human being with, right? It's something that's expected of all of us. Whether this person has done wrong or is the most amazing person ever, we must respect them as another human being. So why is it that this shit is still going on with my good friend Icy when she has admitted that what she did was wrong, tried to apologize for it, and it keeps going? Huh?
I don't know. Honestly, at this point, you guys are the ones who keeps dragging the shit into the mud, not us. Unless you're referring to the comment section of the Quad Up, and to that I say, that's on them, not the people who actually covered Icy. I think we should both know that unless the content creator is outright saying to go attack someone or anything like that, it's not the creator's responsibility if their fan base starts going haywire.
This is what's wrong with this community nowadays, is that people hold on to things. They make long, unedited live streams. I am fully guilty. I'm guilty of this. And they bitch about something that's not really that big of a deal.
Wait, which community? The ranting community or the commentary community? Because let me tell you this, there's a clear difference between the ranting and commentary community. The types of videos each community makes are completely different formats, like it or not. If you're talking about the commentary community, when? Literally when? As far as I know, the only one who's made a long-ass livestream in this situation was Icy herself. I don't understand what you're going on about. Now, I don't know if that happens anymore in the ranting community, but I did know that did happen in the past, where people have done long-ass live streams and put people on blast for an hour or so. But that's the thing. It's in the past, not now. Unless you give me evidence that this does happen nowadays, I'd like for you to point that out to me if you see this, Mickey. Or anyone in the ranting community. But until then, I won't know. If you haven't noticed, making unedited videos like this really doesn't help anything in the long run. We just have to take your word on a lot of things and leave the audience in the dark. Not a good route to go with if you're trying to defend someone, might I add. Yes, I know that "give me the evidence" is an overused point, but in something as heavy as this, you need context. That's why I made that lengthy intro, to give context. Not everyone's gonna understand both sides immediately. Hell, I've even seen comments on not only your video, but Icy's videos as well, saying that they don't understand what's going on. Another thing, regarding the whole "they bitch about things that don't really matter" thing, while I can agree to an extent, look who the fuck is talking. And no, I'm not talking about Mickey's past rants. I'm talking about the video I'm commentating on right now. Because, being honest with you, Mickey, drama is nothing but people bitching about things that doesn't really matter. And yeah, you didn't make a long-ass live stream about it like Icy did, but this is still bitching. And I'm not even saying you're wrong here, Mickey. I'm honestly pointing this out because... yikes.
Yeah, Icy said some things she probably shouldn't have, but why don't you give her the chance to fix it?
We are. In fact, we're trying to help her more with these commentaries. Commentaries are made to critique and give advice on how to argue and make videos better. Point to me a video on Icy that was actually giving destructive criticism, and then we'll talk. And I'll give you a hit, Mickey. It's not the Quad Up.
If you have any respect for her, her content, or her friends, or her relationship, back off. Let her fix herself. Let her correct her mistakes. Hammering away at her on how much of a bitch she is because you don't like how she talks is not going to fix anything.
Who the fuck said that? Literally, who? Heaton didn't say that. Annabeth Wright didn't either. Doodleton sure as hell didn't. Neither did Scarlet Otaku and for the other people who covered her. The criticism they were making were towards her arguments mostly. And if we're talking the arguments the Quad Up made production-wise, it sure as hell wasn't about how Icy talks.
Yes, I know, there's gonna be people saying I'm a white knight, I don't know what's going on. I know that she messed up. Let her fix it. Don't beat her over the head with it. That doesn't help anything.
Great! You know she messed up! That's one level higher than most white knights! You want a cookie?
I'm saying this as an outside party. Someone who was not involved until now. Stop it.
And stopping you right there. Speaking as someone who's in the outside group as well, you don't really know much aside from what Icy told you. You are her friend, and Icy could have easily misinterpreted what the quad up and the other said. You need to know both sides of the argument before you even start getting involved in it. So, I'm about done with this video, and I'm gonna give my final thoughts. Mickey, you're someone I've personally known for years. I've seen your rants, and at the time I thought they stood up pretty well. However, this kinda made me lose a little respect for you. You're blindly defending Icy without even knowing the other side, and it clearly shows. You don't even know what's going on in either community, whether it's the ranting community or the commentary community, and didn't provide proof for your claims. However, the one thing I'm a bit perturbed by is the fact that you're not moving on about the situation when literally everyone else has. This shows to me that, yes, you are a white knight. I don't care if you knew she messed up. That's not the only thing that makes a white knight. You can still say, oh yeah, I know she messed up, but leave her alone, blah, and be a white knight. Look, I'm not making this video out of spite. I mean no ill will towards you in the slightest. If it seems like that, I'm really sorry. Just know it wasn't my intent to do so. I wish you luck in your future endeavors, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye!
Hey there, it's me Amelia here, and welcome to my second commentary. And I'm going to attempt a somewhat controversial subject. The mysterious Mr. Enter. Now before you click back, yes, I know there are a lot of commentaries on this guy, or at least there used to be. And yes, I know that quite a few of his haters are really immature. However, this particular video needs to be commented on. It's actually not one of his reviews, but it's about his own work, and it's very revealing. But anyway, enough chit-chat, let's get started.
Somewhat controversial, I get the fact that Mr. Enter has been commented on a lot by the commentary community, and there are quite a few bad commenters of Mr. Enter. Hell, there's one channel to prove that. But how is Mr. Enter controversial, so to say? In fact, here, I'll give you the definition. Controversy. Disagreement, typically when prolonged, public, and heated. My main point here is that Mr. Enter is not necessarily a debatable and controversial topic. In fact, he's an overdone topic. He's been a huge bandwagon back 2014 to 2015 and has been criticized a lot, yet he refuses to accept it even to this day. Thus made him an overdone topic because no one cared to the point he's become irrelevant. So basically, a commentary of Mr. Enter is ill-advised. Now, for your other point regarding how you know there are a lot of commenters that Enter and such, as well as adding to what I said earlier, I'm not saying you can't comment on an overdone topic, because I think that if you bring something new to the table, it shouldn't matter on how overdone said topic is. Unless for some reason it's billion years old and highly relevant. And I will give credit where it's due, and he said it's on his own work because of how a lot of commentaries on Enter covered his Anime Atrocity series. But there is a reason as to why people cover his Anime Atrocity series. Because, fun fact, did you know the video Amelia's commentating on is a vlog? And in case y'all didn't know, a vlog doesn't really have much of anything in general aside from, you know, talking about either personal opinions on topics or updates on someone's daily lives. Mainly updates on someone's daily lives. Now, the original video does have a mixture of both, but it's leaning more on talking about the story and such. This will become more apparent as I go on with this commentary because it's really gonna kick Amelia's ass later due to how it seems like she's trying to make points, but it doesn't end up well. Not only that, but there's gonna be a lot to skipping in this commentary, and I do have a solution for this. Now, I will say said solution for my final thoughts, but please keep this point in mind. However, how is it revealing? I asked this question because you never elaborated on said statement. Now, I understand that there could be a possibility of you joking, but you sound so monotone a lot in this commentary. Emote! Emote! Don't be afraid to raise your voice in times. I got your back, homie.
Growing Around is a project that's very dear to my heart.
Okay, so far so good. A lot of us have projects like that.
Shit, already? Damn, this honestly feels like a point just for the sake of making a point. There's literally no need to jump in and just say, oh, okay, I can see that, and cut back to the video. While the padding is not so much, it's just really pointless. Also, let me bring up the time before you interjected. It was like 2 fucking seconds. How can you automatically tell that a video is good after 2 seconds? I get the fact that you could be making a joke considering how you go on for over 24 minutes, but the bottom line stands. How can I argue so much with such a little statement like this? Why am I still here? Where's my hot chocolate? Why am I in a hotel room that smells like weed and death? And why is there a dead body?
Currently, I have finished the first draft of the novel, which is about 65,000 words.
It might be nice to explain the project a bit more before you tell us the word count. Anyway, he rambles for a long time about his writing history, and I'm gonna skip that.
Right now, he's telling us how many words there are in that novel, and that brings me to hypotheticals such as, maybe he wanted to use that information to terribly introduce the novel to his audience, or maybe it's just trivia he wanted to give out there towards said audience before talking about the story. I honestly say the latter is true, but you never know. He could be a T-able. If either hypothetical is true or not, I still have 4 questions. 1. Why does Mr. Enter need to talk about the project more before talking about the word count? 2. How much should Mr. Enter talk about said project? 3. Why does Jackie not love me? 4. Why is Stammer we're doing commentary! I mean, he's still talking about the project no matter what, so honestly the reason for interjecting here is not good. I mean, you could elaborate on how we could talk about the project more before the discussion of the word count, but hey, what do I know?
But what is growing around?
In my humble little opinion, a disaster. And yes, in case you were wondering, I have read the book in question.
What? We haven't even heard what the story's about and you're already saying this? I understand you could be joking, but come on, homeboy, don't leave me hanging. Especially when you make such one-off irrelevant statements sound so monotone and don't elaborate. What's the point of interjecting?
It started as wanting to be a webtoon or a pilot, some kind of animated series.
I love how you don't mention that you initially thought you could actually sell it to a TV network. Why, it's almost like you didn't want to be accused of having delusions of grandeur.
Hold on, jumping to baseless assumptions now, are we? Look, dude, I can't read your mind and automatically know what you're talking about. Who do you think I am, Psylocke? Nah, that's a pickle, homie. But my main point is to show what you're talking about at least, or else I will literally take that interjection being worth a grain of salt. Also, consider this a nitpick, but Randu, what? I legit had to listen to that word over and over again to get what you meant by that, and even now I still can't understand you. I will understand if you have a speech impediment, but I don't know if that's the case or not. Regardless, I highly suggest to speak clearly and articulate your words better, or else your audience will get confused. Well, in the end, I did figure out what you meant, and I'll read the definition of it. Delusions of grandeur, a false impression of one's own importance. While you don't have anything to back up your claim on how he wanted a TV adaptation, how is this a case of delusion of grandeur? Just because he wanted it doesn't mean he's gonna try everything in his power to make it come true just because he thinks it's so important. It would be really nice to get a screenshot right about now. Wait, no, not that!
But through a series of events, the team that I gathered decided that the work might be better suited to a book series as a start. Now, the voice actors are still going to do their part during an audio reading. One of our artists is still doing all the art for it, like the cover. But more specifically, the general premise of the series was that the stories took place in a world where kids were still kids and adults were still adults, but the roles were swapped. It was to be a world designed and controlled by kids.
I also love how you don't mention the fact that you stole the idea from a Disney short called Flip Flopped, which you even made an atrocity review of.
Hello, viewers! Welcome to another game of what the flying fuck is wrong with this statement? Is it A, there's no evidence at all to back up your claim? B, just because Mr. Enter did a review on the show you claimed you stole it from, he doesn't validate your statement in the slightest, and anything it proves you're wrong because he did a review on it. Knowing Mr. Enter an animated atrocities review usually means he reviews something he didn't like. What's stopping you from making his own take on a similar premise and trying to do it justice? C, I like women, or D, all of the above. Phone on your blocky ass phones now! Alright, the answer? Yes, of course it's D. What else could it be? The V? That's stupid. Now, if you excuse me, I got some business to take care of. Oh wait, before I go, did I mention we're only about 2 minutes in? Because we're only 2 minutes in.
I don't think that this idea is particularly unique or anything like that.
Especially considering the fact that you stole it. Granted, Flip Flopped was a pretty bland short, but God, at least acknowledge where you got the idea from.
Wait, was that your evidence? He's not saying he took the idea from Flip Flop, he's saying it's not unique. Quit making assumptions, homie, they make your world turn better.
I'm sure that many people at least had this idea a few times growing up, but still the concept gives a lot of people pause.
That's because if you think about it for more than a few minutes, you realize that a world run by kids would quickly dissolve into chaos.
Couldn't you make the argument that the kids are the mature ones in this situation? You have to keep in mind that in this story, the roles between the kids and adults have been switched around. So the kids have more adult-like mindset, while the adults are more childlike. Sure, in the universe we live in today, a world ruled by children would turn into chaos, but that's not what Mr. Enter was talking about. He wasn't even talking about the story in realistic terms. He even stated it was fictional, which means it's not real. Try to hit the ball when the pitcher throws at you, okay? Hey, I could be wrong though, let's continue.
So, let's go really in-depth about it. The first thing that you have to know about the world of Growing Around is, within the world works. By that I mean, it's not a dystopia or post-apocalypse. The world functions within the story.
Yeah, there are a lot of problems with that. For one thing, the kids in your world are inexplicably skilled enough to have jobs despite having never gone to school. And for another thing, once they grow up, they lose their freedom to their offspring. Yeah, let me say that again. People lose their freedom once they grow up.
Oops, did I leave that in there? Whoopsie daisy! So you made it interjecting regarding how the world will turn into chaos, and the very next thing Edger says is that the world works. I get that the author isn't right the whole time since you state the issues within the setting, which I will debug later, because there are a lot of times where the author needs criticism to make their stories better, but shit, man! Also, regarding that the kids in this world have jobs without even going to school, since we're bringing real life to this, child labor was a thing, which also means that children have been in the workforce before, even without a lot of knowledge. Hell, back when child labor was legal, they learned the basics, and that was it. Now you could argue argue on how it's illegal now, but we have to keep this in mind. The rules have been switched in this universe, which means that it's different rules on how life works. Not only that, but just because it's illegal, it doesn't automatically disprove the feasibility of children working. Hell, history alone can prove you that they can, and nowadays we know that it shouldn't. Also, how to bring in arguments regarding how the adults lose their freedom once they grow up. Perhaps it's a alternate universe where the roles are switched so they expect it to be like that? How dare thee! I'm suing for actually sticking with the idea of an alternate universe! I need an adult!
I am an adult.
Sorry, continue the video, please.
They're cold and tough and dark, even though fiction is about the fantastical and stuff that couldn't possibly exist in reality.
Yes, but that's not an excuse to throw out all logic.
Hey Amelia, let me give you a little word that everyone can appreciate. Fiction! F-I-C-T-I-O-N. Come on, dude, that isn't that hard. We're literally talking about a fictional, aka not real story, where a lot of the logic within our world wouldn't work. A lot of your points within this commentary tries to bring Mr. Ender's story in realistic terms when it's clearly stated that the story is set in a fictional world. Now, in a sense, Amelia, you are correct. Logic shouldn't be disposed of even in fictional settings. However, where you messed up is that you immediately assumed that the logic within this universe wouldn't work. If Ender made the universe where the fictional system works, and as long as the characters act believable even within the reverse rules, then it's fine. Don't get me wrong though, there are definitely some fictional universes where the rules aren't thought out well and make it unbelievable. But you're wrong to assume that growing around's universe couldn't be believable. You know what, Amelia? You bully me, you're mean to me, and you don't appreciate anything that I—
Growing around can be cold and dark and tough at times, but at its default, it's not. One thing that makes all the difference, and I think needs to be understood, is that this is a series that is written for children. I don't mean that in a condescending, it's so stupid, haha, they won't notice Teen Titans Go kind of way.
No, you mean that in a I don't need to explain anything and I can throw away all logic kind of way.
So, completely missing the point? Nice. Not only do you repeat yourself and do not add anything new towards it, as well as not elaborating to what you're saying, you're literally going on for what he's not wanting the story to be, like Teen Titans Go. Do you even know who I am, kid?
Nah.
I'm Bowser from Sonic.
At least, not without making it the horrific dystopias mentioned above.
So you admit that adults will point out that your world makes no sense?
But he didn't even say that!
So let's ask, what makes a good story aimed at children?
Not something where people become slaves to their kids as soon as they grow up, I can tell you that.
Are you legit being serious here? These one-off statements and this red petition are gonna make me go insane. I swear I'm gonna lose it. What are you doing, Amelia? Learn to script!
To answer that, you're going to need to think about what issues do kids generally go through.
I've actually spent a lot of time with kids through babysitting and substitute teaching, and I really don't think that your book is something that's going to really appeal to them. For one thing, the characters are really bland and stereotypical. They feel like they were written by someone whose idea of what kids are like came from watching Nickelodeon. Like, all kids want to eat nothing but sugar, all kids love getting dirty. But I'm getting off topic. On with the video.
But, Amelia, you realize something? Your argument is subjective. Pro tips, opinions don't debunk opinions. Okay, thanks. Now I understand that you're bringing up a personal experience and how kids nowadays wouldn't be interested in Enter's novel, but that's the thing. While it's anecdotal, this normally means that not all kids are gonna have the opinion that Enter's novel wasn't good due to how it's from your experience. What about mine? Or Jackie's? Or the one Jew who's a total faggot? Hell, how do we even know that the kids you subbed and took care of actually thinks that? Did you ask them personally? Not only that, you're using Enter logic against Enter logic. Is this some sort of fucking paradox? Where are my hands? Also, regarding your "oh, I'm getting off topic" thing, dude, you're fine. In fact, do you know what that was called? That's right! Elaboration!
How many children's works have a monster where the adults can't do anything against it, either out of stupidity or thinking that it's just a childish game, or a lack of innocence, or even their own adult lives? Every book where the kids go to a magical school or get a superpower, it answers the feeling of powerlessness. In works where kids are able to outsmart villains much older than them, it answers the feelings of being underestimated. To put it basically, every work of children's literature needs to give kids a strong sense of agency. More often than not, that's what makes or breaks it.
Other things can make or break it too, such as actually telling a good story or having interesting characters, or, making sense.
Gee, I wonder if that was what Enter was talking about. Nah, that's bullshit. If you haven't noticed, I was exaggerating for a point. But seriously, isn't that what Enter was just going through saying? I mean, it's not like the sense of the power that Enter was talking about would, oh, I don't know, give the characters more character and makes them more interesting? Also, we fucking get it. You think the series makes no sense. Now, could you please shut the fuck up? You'll literally be repeating yourself for the past 6 minutes and it's getting really irritating. Speaking of which, after this, I'm gonna be skipping a lot, so prepare your asses for the skip card.
A sense of wonder and intrigue is very important to children's books and children's media. And growing around peer groups, books and movies and games and television shows aimed at a similar audience. We have works like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Sideways Stories from Wayside School. Actually, I think that Charlie is a pretty good way to put this.
Oh boy, here we go. By the way, I love how you put in that little note bitching about your critics. Real mature.
You didn't even argue against him? Like, at all? Please help me. Also, consider this a nitpick from me, but why is the screenshot you took in poorer quality than the actual video? I was just getting on to taking better pictures, homie. Even though you don't even read the fucking text or debunk it at all, aside from, "Lol, real mature," shows great arguments on your end, am I right? I keep repeating myself a lot in this commentary. I wonder why!
Explaining the magic, and keep in mind, I'm using magic in a very loose sense here. It could also refer to something like faster than light travel, whatever is the book's special thing. It's always a dicey proposition.
First, it's really pretentious to put your own work in the same category as these beloved stories.
How is it pretentious to add his own work to this? He's giving examples of what's considered to be unnatural to our world. That's not being pretentious!
And they both have their strengths and weaknesses, and they have their features that you couldn't put in the other. I've always had a hard time taking criticism. Call it ego or anxiety or a bad childhood with way too much criticism or whatever.
And yet you look down on other people who can't take criticism. The hypocrisy is strong with this one.
1 year ago. I mean, one could argue that Enter still stands for that video, but here's the thing. We don't know that for sure. You could at least show a more recent example. This is Mr. Enter we're talking about. What could you not find? Not only that, I love how you show the screenshot to automatically assume that we know what you're talking about. Elaboration would be pretty nice. There goes your argument. Down the drain. Bye-bye. Well, hey, at least you showed some evidence.
First of all, there are people out there who do want me and my projects to fail. I have plenty of trolls who have a very concerned interest in watching me suffer. And I do know that there are plenty of people who would intentionally try to give me counterintuitive or broken information to make my project worse on purpose.
Have you ever thought about just why that is? Maybe it has to do with the rules on your DeviantArt page, or the time you bitched at a guy for going to college, or the time that you blocked everybody who dared to say that trolls and cyberbullies weren't the same thing, or the time that you used an entire review to bitch about getting requests, or the time you used your Asperger's as an excuse to not take criticism from anyone you don't personally know. Yes, some people are jerks, but quite a few of your antis, myself included, used to be fans before they got turned off by your behavior.
For the first 2 screenshots, how the fuck would you know that they're valid? Like, at all? Dude, you might want to check the dates on those things because if they're old, congrats! You just came into an argument with no ammo. As for the Admiral Enveration video, you realize how old that video is? Almost 2 years old. Hell, as far as I know, Bob actually commented on that video. As for the last 2 screenshots, they're also a year ago. Look at all that credibility. All down the drain. Whoopsie. You know, I think after this point I'm gonna end it here. Sure, I could continue, but repetition sucks butt. I'm not gonna do that for the remainder of this commentary. Except for this one point here.
Anyway, now he finally starts talking about the actual story and characters, which I'm gonna skip because I don't really want to repeat myself too much.
So, you're saying that you could have made all of your points regarding how, oh, you're making adults in this world slaves, or how children shouldn't have jobs because they've never gone to school in those 4 minutes? This literally makes me question how long this commentary is, to be honest. GG, no re. Now, it's time for the dreadful final thoughts. I could easily sum up this video with one sentence. Jumping to conclusions, lack of emotion and jokes, and repetition. You really had enough evidence to back up a lot of your claims, and when you did, they were old as shit. Come on, this is Mr. Enter we're talking about here. What could you not find? Not only that, most of your points were one-off statements and vague as well. Also, might I add the repetition is fucking ridiculous? Like, holy shit, we get it. You didn't like the story, now get on with it, homie. Another thing is to add emotion to what you're saying, and please add jokes to be over the top of seriousness. Commentators are made to criticize and entertain their audience. When I first saw this commentary, I couldn't pay attention for a second, and your tone isn't helping, young lady. Now, if you remember my first interjection, you recall me talking about the video Amelia was commentating on, and how it isn't a really good idea to commentate on it due to that how it's a vlog, and vlogs don't hold a bunch of commentary material. Remember how I said there's a solution? Well, here it is. This video would have actually been a lot better and held more substance if this was actually a review on the novel instead of a commentary regarding said novel. Now, before anyone asks me why that's the case, I also said this within my interjection. This will become more apparent as I go on with this commentary because it's really gonna kick Amelia's ass later due to how it seems like she's trying to make points, but it doesn't end up well. I will say this though, there are some points within this commentary I somewhat agree with, and I do think they have potential within you. Just learn how to make arguments that aren't vague, back them up, and chill out. Jokes can help with that. Good luck to you, homie.